Well, welcome to Maine. I'm sorry I'm not there with you this evening, but medical reasons just don't allow that. Receiving an award from my peers is very meaningful to me, and I'm honored, I'm grateful, and so thank you very much for this award. And congratulations to everyone else that's receiving this award this evening. I'm in good company, I know that. So, I am in the town of Jefferson, in the county of Washington, Lincoln, excuse me, next to the county of Washington. Up here in Maine, we love our presidents. Just thought I'd throw that in. So my first story for you tonight is really how the IWLCA got started. It's an interesting story because it's layered. In 1981, the Time magazine did a cover, and you'll remember it had a lacrosse player on it. And it was a tournament that we had down in Penn State. And it was the last tournament sponsored by the AIAW, the women's organization, the women that ran the NCAA, the College Coaches Association, or the coaches part of women's lacrosse. After that, it became the NCAA. And right around that time, the NCAA had a committee. They gathered a committee, and there were 5 of us, and I was on that first committee. And it was Mike Morris from Johns Hopkins, Maggie Faulkner from Towson State, Kathy, I forget her last name, from UMBC, and Maureen Horan from Drew University, and myself. And we were, other than starting the format for the championships, we were also charged with getting a College Coaches Association together. We couldn't figure out what it was all about, but obviously it was very important. So we all wanted Mike Morris to be the first president of this organization, but she said no, she was going to leave Johns Hopkins and go to Garrison Forest. Maggie Faulkner was the chair of the NCAA committee. She couldn't do it, so it fell to me. I'm the first president of this organization, by forfeit. So one of the jobs we had, obviously, was to get a mission statement and a structure together for the organization. President, vice president, committees, etc. And we were to meet at Maureen Horan's college up at Drew on a weekend. And what happened was, I don't know what happened actually, but I was the only one that showed up. The other 2 didn't show up. And so Maureen and I were sitting there, and we said, well, we got to do this. We've got to write a mission statement, and we've got to get this organization up and running. Basically, what the mission statement was, and it hasn't changed, is the integrity of the game, to maintain the integrity of the game, and to support each other as coaches. And that hasn't really changed. That's still your mission. And it's a good one. So there we have it. That's how it all happened. So speaking of integrity of the game, right now, women's lacrosse is under tremendous pressure, and you're under a lot of pressure to, probably put helmets on, to put more lines on the field, to do this, to take players on and off the field. And all I can say to you is resist. The game of women's lacrosse is a great game. It's not men's lacrosse. It's not men's lacrosse. And your game is unique, and you've got to keep it that way. It's worth the fight. It's well worth the fight. You have something very unique. So it's going to be hard, but stick together. There's lots of ways to solve problems. If your passing lanes are tightening up, you can move the arc out. Obviously no zones. You can't stop strategy, but you can put rules in that don't allow to make it harder for strategy to work. All right, so that's my words of encouragement. You asked me also what was the most important coaching moment I ever had. You know, that's a tough one. Many of us have them, lots of them. But one thing that stood up for me was the first time that we won. It was in 1981, and so Chris Saylor was the co-captain of that team. That was our first championship. And I knew if we could win an Ivy championship, we could go all the way eventually. It was really important. When I first started coach, I said to the team, I said, we're going to play everybody that's won anything. So at that time, Westchester and Ursinus were the gold standard. So I took the team down there. I think we lost by 12 points, 11 points, 10 to each one of them. Next year, we lost by about 4 or 5. And in 1981, and Chris is in the room, so she'll remember this, we beat Ursinus and Westchester. And so we were on our way. We knew that at that point, it was a turning point. And so another coaching moment that I remember, it's important to me, is obviously winning the national championship and being in the Final Four. All of that was great. But one important aspect, all of you will know, happens in the office and when you're talking to kids and when you're talking to your players. And in 1990, we were a good team, to say the least. And I definitely was feeling the pressure. So I was getting I was haranguing, is the word maybe. I was screaming and yelling on the sidelines. I hated it. I hated myself for that, but I was doing it. And the co-captains came in to the office and said, you know, Carole, you're not helping. Things aren't that, you know, you're not helping. We really, it's not good. And you're not going to think that that's an important moment, but that was, to me, that was a very important moment because it helped me understand that the players are with you. They're with you and they want to do the best for the team. And if it means going in and telling the coach to shut up, then that's so be it. Also, that also tells you a lot about leadership. Okay, what else? So why do you play and why do you coach? Well, I think it's pretty simple, actually. I think we all play because we enjoy it and we're good at it. You don't do something when you're not very good at it. And you like it. Once you start to do something that you're good at and you find that you're getting better and better, and then the enjoyment comes. Well, it could be the opposite way around. It's a great feeling, actually, to pursue something and start to get good at it and enjoy it at the same time. And so why do I coach? I coach for the same reason that I played. I loved coaching. I absolutely love it. I mean, here you are getting paid to do something you love and enjoy, and also, you know, working with, you know, you have a new face every year, new players come on, and you have to put things together. I love the creativity part of coaching. I like trying to figure out strategy. I love trying to figure out what works for one player, doesn't work for another player, what works for us as a team against one team may not work for another team. All that. I love that. I absolutely love it. So do I miss it? Oh, of course I miss it. I'd love to be back on the field anytime, but you know, this illness that I have, it's a bummer. It's you know, I can't be around people with fragrance, and it's horrible. It's horrible. So, what else can I leave you with? The idea that that your organization, you know, the AIW was scuttled because they never had a chance to get organized. The NCAA was run by men. All the athletic directors were men. The presidents of the colleges were men. And so the women never had a chance to do their own thing and do what they thought was the vision of college sports. But you do have a chance. You have a chance to have a vision of what you want women's lacrosse to be, where you want to take it. And it's all in your hands. I don't think that anybody can take it away from you, although you will have pressure from your colleges, you will have pressure from U.S. lacrosse, and of course the big pressure always comes from the parents. That's one thing I feel so bad about all of you coaching today, that you have that kind of pressure. So the other thing is, who are the best coaches that I've coached against? Many. There are some great ones. You know, Sue Tyler comes to mind. She, in 1981 again, when I think Maryland won that national championship, could have been Penn State actually, not sure. You know, we went into that tournament, we were 18-0, and Francesca Den Hartog, some of you know, was like the leading scorer in the country, blah, blah, blah. And Sue Tyler had, you know, just face guarded her all over the field, and usually she played behind the crease. And it was great strategy, and we did not handle it well. I did not handle it well, and I think that that was one of the reasons we lost. It certainly wasn't our defense. Our defense did a great job. The other coach was Cindy Timshall, one of the inductees tonight. Many of you don't know, but you'll find out tonight, that she was at Northeastern prior to going to Maryland. And she came to Harvard. It was an NCAA tournament, first round, and I thought, you know, this isn't gonna, you know, this will be pretty easy. We were good, and this isn't gonna, she's not gonna be like Northwestern. What can they do? They were good, and they were good because of Cindy. She is a great coach. She is a motivator. She knows the game. She is a lot of fun. I can't imagine playing for her and not laughing all the time. But okay, so then now she's at Annapolis and doing a great job. Another coach that you won't remember, but her name was Marissa Didio, and she was at University of New Hampshire. She was more of a field hockey coach. I think she went on to be a U.S. Olympic coach, and she was the coach that really took that UNH team and won a national championship. I mean, here she had basically not many lacrosse players. She had athletes. She got her whole field hockey team to play lacrosse, and the plastic stick just came in at that time, and she definitely didn't want players to catch and throw very much. So she had a strategy where she took the ball behind the goal and kind of sat on it, drive me crazy, and then she used the zone, and it was great. Then they won a national championship, and you know, you never hear of her, but you should hear about her. She was so innovative. She's so clever, and fun to play against, actually. So I don't know that there's that much more I can tell you. I mean, a lot of people probably want me to talk about why I put 12 on 12, and you know, you all blame me for putting lines on the field. That was not me. That was somebody else. But I was so frustrated with people sitting with the ball behind the goal cage that I just threw people behind there to chase the ball. And because we had a rule that you couldn't go through the crease as a defense player, that was crazy. When I was playing, you could run through the crease in the back. And now you've changed the rule, but then somebody threw this rule in, and I wasn't going to have defense players being picked off by the crease. So one player came down, and then another player came down, and then somebody else sent somebody. So we were playing 12 on 12. and it wasn't so bad. I really, really miss the full field game. I really miss the breakout game, the, you know, that game that pass, pass, pass down the field. You put lines on the field, you slow the game down. I'm going to say it again. You put lines on the field, you slow the game down. And I don't like to see a game slowed down. The new rule that you put in about the shot clock it's a great rule. And I think the kids probably are having a lot more fun playing the game. So I guess that's all I have to say, other than thank you again. And I definitely will keep my eye on the game. I stay involved. You know, I talk to Lisa at Harvard and catch a game up at Colby now and then. So, you know, thank you again, and enjoy the evening.